What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Abby, and I warmly welcome you to the Caribbean and to my container garden here in Trinidad and Tobago. I was just taking a nice leisurely walk in the little container garden I have here, and the plants are doing exceptionally well. This evening, I just want to give you a quick glimpse of the garden so that you can see how the plants are progressing. Things are looking pretty good. I have been using different things in the garden, but I really wanted to highlight that I tried out the eucalyptus oil, the peppermint oil on my peppers. As you guys well know, the mites like to attack these, and I found that when I used that seemed to have some effect on the spider mites. So I'm gonna try using that for a week and see if that, you know, if I see any improvement or if the pepper plants get any worse in here. So I just want to keep using it to see what it does in the garden. But I did find that when I used it, the leaves straightened back out somewhat on the pepper plants. I've been using the eucalyptus oil and soapy water. Very little soap because you guys know my hands are heavy when it comes to the soap, and I tend to burn my leaves of my plants um, in the garden, and that really makes me sad. I'm not a big fan of soapy water in the garden, but I've been doing really well at keep trying to find an organic way to deal with my problems in the garden. I haven't given up. I really want to reassure you of that. Since I've moved the garden into the sun, things have begun fruiting everywhere. The flowers are here. The plant is looking so much more blooms, more promising. I actually saw a Rosa Bianca because here, oh, to see her there, everybody has begun producing in the garden. So moving the garden into the sun has been really good. I'm actually out here to give them their evening watering because I didn't water them this morning, to give them a bit of hydration. I will give you guys a garden tour soon, but right now I'm just focusing on planting. So I have quite a few things that I want to get planted. I have some onions in that tray that will be ready in probably 3 weeks. That's my estimation. So I need to get this box ready for those onions. The problem with this box right now is location. Where it is, it's in full shade. Absolutely no sun gets here at any time of the day. So I'm going to be taking out the soil out of this container. Oh, before I talk about that, you can see that I made this area my little seedling area. Remember, I had a bunch of marigolds in this pot. This is the coconut core. They're still alive, but then they won't thrive because there's not much nutritional value in the coconut core. So I needed to get them into real dirt, and I didn't have any, so I just tapped into what I had here. I mixed in a bit of the coconut core with the existing soil that was in here, and I created a little seedling nursery here. This is the cucumber. Remember the bunch of okras, guys? Bunch of okras. I transplanted some into these little bags to give them some leeway until I can get containers to put them in. But most of these are marigolds. I love beauty, and I just can't do without the flowers. I really can't. So I'm I'm gonna be sticking marigolds everywhere because not that they, in my opinion, ward off anything, but they're beautiful, and they attract the slugs away. The slug seems to prefer to eat the marigolds, so I'll plant the marigolds for them to eat, so they could leave my leafy greens and stuff. So I'm give them a lot of marigolds for them to eat. Hopefully they could leave my pak choys and leafy stuff, my mustard greens. They could leave them alone and allow me to partake of the real food, and I give them the marigolds to eat. So I even have some dill here. The tomatoes, I have transplanted them into their own pots and they're doing pretty alright. I have been spraying them with the slightly soapy water and eucalyptus oil, and I'm really seeing some promising stuff happening with it. It just seems as though I will have to do it every 3 or 4 days, but if it's going to be organic, I guess it will take a lot more work. The peppers, out of the 4 seeds or 3 seeds that I put down, not many, only one came up of each. Oh look, that is the daikon radish. We enjoy that, so if that comes up, I have to find a home for that as well. Some more dill. So these plants are doing pretty good, so I'm gonna have to move these out of here, and I'm gonna dig all this dirt out of here and try to move this entire box over here to where it's sun. It's full sun all day right here, and that's what onions need in order to bulb up. I've tried growing onions on that side before and I got teeny tiny golf ball size onions, and the ones that I grew here did way better. So I'm going to move this stand from here, or try to, and move the other stand to this side. These plants would do really well in shade. Baji, I find, does really well in the partial shade. This loves shade because I find the areas where the sun is blazing, it gets really crispy. So celery likes a bit of shade. So I'm going to move this whole thing over on this side, and I'm going to dig up and put it here, and this one I'm going to put behind us, and we will get this box ready for the onions. So I'm going to put back in the soil. I have a bag of compost there that's not quite ready. It's still a bit smelly, but I'm going to put it halfway in this tray so that within the 3 weeks it has a moment to break down, and by the time the onions are mature enough and their roots are big enough to tap into it, it is usable for the onions. So I'm going to put you guys on the tripod, and we are going to work at this together. I caught a bad cold. The whole family, well, the kids and I, we caught a really bad cold. It's not a nasal cold, but it's one that's on the chest, and it came with body aches. Apparently it's some virus going around, and it wiped us out, guys. Wiped me out. So I'm gonna do as much as I can, because I still need to keep the energy in order to deal with the other kids, with the other people in the house. So I'm going to do as much as I can to get this ready. Really want to get it ready because it helps me to cross things off my to-do list, and it helps me to keep progressing forward so I could reach the goal of growing majority of what we eat. I need to get this yard swept up before my husband gets in and see this mess. It was disheartening him so much to come home and see all this dirt over this pressure wash yard. Guys, we've gotten it moved. Now when I say we, I mean my brother-in-law and I. He just came in and I said I need your help, so he helped me move this from over on that side over here. So now on this side we have the celery and the baji. These two would do great here in this shaded spot, because I've recognized that the celery does not like the blazing sun. It actually prefers a bit of shade, and so I think it would do much better over here, because on that side, the areas that were in the sun directly, because this side was shaded by the orange tree and you can see how lush this side is, but the other side that was in the sun actually has a bit more burns to it. So that's a plant that prefers some shade. My observation. You can let me know in the comment section down below if that's your observation too, if you know whether celery prefers in the Caribbean a bit of partial shade. Let me know in the comment section down below. I really would like to know. So on that side, let's take you over there. On that side we have, it looks good there too. It looks really good actually. It looks refreshing. That white of the raised bed over here looks pretty good. So, oh my gosh, there's a lizard on it already. Can you see him? He's over there perched on it. What you looking for? You scoping out? Uh, so I'm glad that I have it over here because this is where I want to put my onions. So I'm gonna get the soil back in here before it gets too dark, and I want to lift as well the bag of compost. And you guys know Trinidad, we have a lot of animals, so I need to see it in the daylight to make sure that there's no snakes there to bite me. So I want to get the soil back in, get that bag of compost in, because it's gonna be, it has a stench to it. It's not quite ready, but I do think that if I put it in the soil, it will break down even faster, and it will be ready in the 3 weeks to a month when those onion seedlings are ready. So just gonna give you a close-up of how this non-broken down compost is looking. It is quite compact. It is not crumbly at all, but I have no problems using it. I have no problems using it because it's going to continue breaking down in the soil anyway. Whatever the plants want, they can tap into. So this is how it's looking. Not pretty at all, but it's still organic matter, and it's not anaerobic. It has a stench to it, but it is not extremely awful. And I'm going to cover it right now with 10 gallons of soil. That's what I have left over here. I even have half a feed bag if that's not enough to fill up that raised bed. Whew, I'm breaking a sweat. This soil is loaded, loaded with worms, loaded. Now they have even more things to eat with the compost in there. Even more things to chow on. Lots of worms in this soil. Looks really healthy. Ooh. It takes work to get here and determination. And just like that, one task completed. Oh, it feels good. It feels good. Yeah, I got a question to ask. I noticed that when some of these worms come up to the surface of the soil, it's like they perish, kind of like, oh, it's just, they seem as though they don't move much. Okay, I thought that they die. So I'm gonna ask you if that's what's happening. You see how these look so still? They're not damaged or anything. But as I bring them closer, you can still see that they're moving a little. I think I'll bury them back. I thought that, that maybe when they come in contact with the air outside from the soil that they get like that. I'm not sure. But the ones that are exposed, I'm sticking them back into the soil because they're so precious. These little wigglies, there's so many of them. This thing is so filled with worms. But anyway, this container is all ready for the onions. I'm gonna wipe this down clean, everything, and I need to get this yard cleaned up, y'all. I need to get this yard cleaned up. It is going to dishearten him for him to come home and see all this dirt everywhere. So this is where this is where I leave you for today. Sorry guys, this cold is on my chest. This is where I leave you for today. Thank you for joining me this evening, guys. I was I am in low spirits. There's a lot going on, and I'm in very low spirits. But when you come out in the garden, it lifts you. Something about the garden just lifts your spirit. You get a moment to think, get a moment to talk to God, you get a moment to brainstorm. That's thinking. The gardening is just so healthy for us. It must be a gift. It is a gift from God because He gave us the first garden to take care of. And whenever you tap into a garden, in my opinion, it lifts your spirit somewhat. Not entirely right now because we are surrounded by problems, but it lifts your spirit to cope with another day. Of course, it's not the primary thing, but it does help a lot. Mentally, it helps to cope with the challenges that you're having. So, if you haven't started your garden, start with one container, guys. One single container, and nurture that plant with all the love you have in your soul. And feel the feeling, as my younger brother would say, feel the feeling that the garden gives you. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, please give me a big thumbs up, a big earthworm thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button and join us here in Caribbean Charm Gardening. And hit the notification bell so that every time that I post a video, it will drop down in your feed and you could get to spend some time with me. All right, y'all. See you in the next one. And take care. Lots of love to you. Bye.